because it's hopefully going to be an interesting little video here. Here we go. How's everybody doing today? Hoping everybody's having a good day. Enjoying life, living life, loving life. Wanted to talk about some communication issues today. Because as we know, we've all heard in beginning was Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In beginning was the Word, and the Word was with truth, and the Word was truth. But somehow it's been construed that in beginning was Word, and the Word was with magic, and so the Word is magic. And they began casting spells on you with their words. And what I've got here in the post is a perfect example. This here is a perfect example of exactly what they are doing to people in these courts. And if you read it, it says a logic question, ... true or false, hyphen, it can only be one, ... And then it says the record is blank, ... And what I put there, and I posted this yesterday or the day before, and I've had a lot of responses. And most of them are exactly what I expected. Some of them surprised me, but yet again, none of them really responded appropriately. And that's because this is a certain leading set of statements. There is no question. And yet everybody took it as a question and then filled in the blank as if though that was the end of it. See, when they, in these court documents, that's all we're doing is filling in the blanks and not asking the appropriate questions. Because it says a logic question, ... That's a statement. There's no question mark. True or false, it can only be one. That's not a question either. And then it says the record is, and then you're supposed to fill in the blank, and it says period, ... end of. It's not a question mark. So again, there's no question. So technically, if it's a logic question, you fill in the blank, and then you're supposed to respond with the question. And nobody responded with a question. And that was a failure to communicate. Where was the failure to communicate, though? Was it on me? Or was it on somebody else that didn't read it right? And this is going all the way to the symbolism. If you look at the first thing there, it says true or false, or excuse me, a logic question, ... Did anybody even bother asking what ... means? Does anybody know what the hyphen means between true or false? True or false, connected with the statement, it can only be one. And then again, you see the ... What is that? That ... is the same thing as If you look in the comment section, I just typed something in. See the brackets? Dot, dot, dot. And if you look in your literature and you watch and you pay attention, you'll see both of these things. You'll see the dot, dot, dot used in certain places, but nobody ever really pays attention to it. Or they'll see the brackets, but nobody ever really pays attention to it. The dot, dot, dot means that there's something else that can be said. It's a leading. It leads into. In other words, what it says there, a logic question, dot, 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 is just the beginning of a statement. You don't know what the rest of it is, so you don't even know if it's a question or if it's a statement. You have to ask to clarify it, okay? And this is what we need to do in these court documents when we see things that we don't really comprehend. When we see the name in all capital letters, well, I've never spelled my name in all capital letters. Is that really my name? What is the difference? Can you please clarify? Because that seems foreign to me. I was taught in school that anything that's written in all capital letters is a title. And I've been told in my customary belief system that I'm not supposed to take upon a title. I'm not supposed to take upon a graven image. I'm not supposed to idolize any other being or any essence greater than my God. What are you trying to do here? Are you trying to destroy his word? In the beginning was word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. It wasn't your magic. Spell this shit right, please. I've got a concise English handbook that I go by, and a King James version of the Bible, 1611. Please, let's come to a one-to-one communication and quit babbling. I don't know what you said there. That would have been a perfect question. Where's the question? Nobody even bothered asking that. Where's the question? I don't see a question, Keith. Then I would have at least been able to, that would have been an appropriate response, and I would have been able to explain, well, you're right, there is no question. I was expecting you to fill in the blank and come back with a logical question for it. So when people put down the record is false, well, what record? Somebody came back with the record is blank. I thought that was a perfect response. Exactly. Because if you look at it in the perspective of your record, the true record of you, are you keeping a record? Is there a record? Do you write a journal? Do you have a family history? Do you keep the journals of the people that have predecessed you in your own family history and written the true story of their life so you don't have to listen to the false history that everybody else pretends to be true? What is the record? The record is it yours? Okay, so what's the question? If the record's yours, is it true or false? Well, again, depends on if you're lying or not. Are you journaling it? As it's written, so shall it be. Do you know what eternal life is? I bet you people will believe or will remember Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Samuel Clemens for a long time. Some of them are fiction. But they all lead back to the origin. Because if you do your research right, that's what you do. You get to the root cause, the root words, and the root knowledge. So you gotta know the knowledge of the words, so you can know the truth of the knowledge, so you can know the wisdom of the truth. And you can't do none of it unless you get off your ass and do something about it. Maybe you ought to start asking questions. Justin says, brackets around text in documents is parse syntax that removes what is between or is an application of the four corner rule. And that's correct. And the reason we use them is just the same as the ... It's kind of like a reservation to say something. Okay, so what you're doing is you're actually saying it, but it's not on the record. So you're giving them like a forewarning that you're reserving your right to reference to a certain case that pertains directly to yours. I'm sorry, but states clearly, Saunders versus Vautier, the beneficiary has the right to collapse a trust at any time he wishes. He is party to the trust. He has equal consideration, equal benefit, and must not suffer detriment for fault of the trustor and the trustee. Think about this stuff, people. Yes, Matt Baltrip hit it on the nose. Title to an event. Because see, what they've done is they've extracted abstract information. We see this in UCC, information of contract, and it's literally two separate words, and it says in formation of contract. And that's exactly what they did. They took and extracted abstract details of the event in formation of contract. Pure and simple. And the hospital, folks, is a military institution. They have wards, and they have insurance for risk management for both their military personnel and their military captives. I'm going to put that case number down here for you guys so you can look this up. I believe this is it's a very old case law, 1800s. Let me see here. Okay. Here's a link where you can read all kinds of scholarly opinions and research this case so you can come up with your own or use your own discretion to discern what it means. Because basically, in my opinion, that's exactly just as I stated. It tells you that the beneficiary of any trust has just as much equal right to collapse a trust for whatever reason he wishes. But generally, in my opinion, I would only collapse a trust if it's no longer beneficial. And in doing so, if it's being done in a detrimental way, and has been for a recorded period of time, knowingly, based upon a false record, then there's a right to go back to the initial point and claim everything back. Fines, fees, penalties, taxes. Let me explain something to you about the Numinant Report when we were talking about the Numinant Report this last week. The Numinant Report is a numerical identification system, and that's part of the information of the contract. They attached a numerical identification. When they extracted the abstract information from the event and placed it in formation of contract, they attached a number at that point. From that point on, the numerical identification system of the Social Security Administration admits that the record is false. I repeat, I quote from their own Numinant records request printout, request form. It says right on it. This is an admission you have to make, and it clarifies very succinctly. I am the non-resident human being and not the statutory individual to whom the false record pertains. Now, I'm going to clarify the Social Security number is first established when you're born. When you grow up and you turn 18 and you fill out that application to receive a card to become the card holder of the person's account and administrate through authorized signature various instruments throughout the life of your existence, and then you want to start your own business, you get an EIN. It's the same number in a different style. So right back to the post of the comment, we have to learn the communications they're using. We have to clarify them. And so when they say employee identification number, you got to ask yourself, well, why is it an employee identification number? If I'm the one running the business, am I not the employer? So when we look up these terms in our research that they are applying and have us caught up in the cognitive dissonance of believing I'm not an employer, I'm not an employee, I'm a man who's worthy of his hire and gives the same in return, equal exchange, for the equal consideration and equal benefit of conducting our affairs privately so as to keep them out of the public, so we're not drugged before the magistrate and thrown in jail. But it's our duty to be able to do so in a responsible ability. We have to have the ability to respond appropriately to each other. And that begins in the very beginning of our communications. And this is why I do posts like this, because this is a very short little thing that can screw a lot of people up. And as proof, it has. Look at the post that I posted this for, and you'll see nobody come back with a question. Not an appropriate one. So we have to learn how to communicate. We have to learn how other people are communicating with us. So when we see these documents and they have all these different styles for the name, we have to ask, why? Well, what does this style mean? And done appropriately, they will respond. They will answer you. But you're not responding appropriately. You're not able to respond in the right manner, so you don't get anywhere. And this is why it's important to do your research, because if they're not going to answer you, you got to find out the problem. You got to find out the root cause. That's where I was in my trial. Let me tell you guys something. It hit me like a brick, but not until hours later. Not until hours later did it hit me like a brick, because I'm in this courtroom and I'm telling you what, I am such a belligerent, it's funny. And I was cussing and swearing, and this guy looked at me from the bench, and he looked at me and said, Mr. Little, do you understand English? Yes! Well, lo and behold, later on, after I'm finally done with that day in court, and I'm back at the house and I'm researching some more, and I'm trying to do everything I can to educate myself. Slam! Do you understand English? What is English? What is the root of the English language? It's based off of many different languages. So the English language, whether you like to think that you understand it or know it or comprehend it or anything, it itself is a twist of the original words. So now we're confounded because now we got to go back to all the different languages that the English language is constructed upon and try to determine, well, if there's all these different languages, which one's right? Is one right more than the other? Or are they too construed off of multiple languages? So you see, folks, we have to get back to the roots of everything in order to comprehend where we're at today. And that's a lot. Believe you me, I've been doing it for 4.5 years now, solid. And like I explained to somebody yesterday, it's been going on since I was 10 and I was adopted and immediately had this question before me of who am I? They can change my name? I thought my adoption just meant I became part of your family. But no, you're going to change my name? Doesn't that belong to me? Am I not truly Keith Orland Conrady? Who can take my name? That's truth. See, that's my record. That's what I recollect. That's what I remember, reattach. I am a member of that association. I remember myself. I don't need your authorization to break open some hidden file, some closed files in your adoption records, saying that I can't have access. The fuck I can't. I already got it. Learn the truth, people. Why are you letting them keep the record? Why are you not keeping the record yourself and learning the construct of that record so that you can keep an appropriate record? The very basic foundation of communication. So it's just something I want you guys to think about. You know, it's not always a question. Sometimes you got to ask the question. Quit expecting life to give you all the answers right up front. Quit expecting life to think that it's expecting so much of you. Everything's freely given. All you got to do is be prosperous and abundant in the truth. Know how to use it. Know how to share it. Know how to love each other. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Do unto each other as you would have them do unto you. So when it comes to, again, back to the ... and the brackets, and you're doing your research, explain it to people. And I hope you're listening this time because I've explained both of these before. But I'm hoping the way I used it here today is a profound way to get you guys to understand the necessity to get to the root cause, the root words, and the root knowledge. Because then all the fiction is like water on a duck's back. Can I see your ID? I'm sorry, I don't have an ID. Can they force you to carry an identification on you? No. So there's one down. Can I have your name, address, identification? I don't have a name. Everybody's got a name. No. Persons have names. True men, real men, have callings. Now, I've been called Keith all my life. I hail from the family Conrady and was adopted into the membership of a family that loves me as well, the Littles. Now, I hear I was born on August 20th, 1966, but that, like the name, would be hearsay as well. Is there anything else I can help you with? What's your name, mister? Because you're certainly not talking to me like a man, mister. See, that's why I don't like drive-thrus. I don't like phones. I want to talk to you face to face. Because I realize the real eyes with my real eyes, and you're going to see the truth in mine. In the beginning was Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And He is my guide. He protects me, and I shall not waver. So remember, folks, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be testing you like this. It's only because you guys I do this. God bless. Love you. Have a great day. Bye.